welcome back again to EDUHUNT classes where you can excel your academics. Okay, in this particular video we are going to learn the separation of colored components, which means the dyes or pigments, let's say, with taken as from blue or black ink. Okay, children will use the ink in the fountain pens, right? Yes, that conditions of the ink is taken. From that we are going to do the separation of the two components from the blue or black ink. We are going to separate the colored component, which is the dyes, from the ink. Okay, we will see how it goes and how it happens. Okay, so let's start the session. The separation of colored components, which means the dyes, from blue or black ink. Okay, for this separation technique, what are the apparatus required? We will see first. Okay, what are the apparatus required, children? Firstly, the ink, right? The main expression is that. Let's take blue or black ink. Let's take blue ink or black ink, which we use in the fountain pen. Yes, yeah. So the ink bottle, or else take an ink from the fountain ink. Okay, fountain pen. Okay, let's take a ink, blue or black in color ink. And now in next apparatus, that is called as beaker. What is this, children? Beaker, where we are going to collect and it will be used for the water bath conditions. Okay, we are going to pour water in that beaker and we are going to use it as a water bath. We will see how it. Okay, this is named as beaker. Okay, beaker. Yes. Now next one, the apparatus required for this process. Next one is watch glass. What is this? Watch glass. Okay, a glass material. Okay, the circle in shape, and it is having some concave particular to place any particular salt or any other component upon that. Okay, this is called as watch glass or simply glass plate. Okay, watch glass will say in the laboratory name. Okay, watch glass. And next one is china dish. What is this, children? China dish. Okay, yes, china dish, because it is made up of porcelain, which is bone china. That's the reason it is having the name china dish. Yes, invented in China. Very good. Now next one is wire gauze. What is this, children? Wire gauze. It is having some meshy apparatus and sudden with the separately with the help of the middle we have extra coating with the layer to just have a separation with that of more amount of heat with the particular beaker or any other content of china dish. Okay, we have to make it safe and we have to place it in the upon this. Okay, like this, and we have the corners, the wire gauze all over through, and also in the middle we have a special layer. This is named as wire gauze. And the last one, okay, we have one more also. This is Bunsen burner. What is this? Bunsen burner, from where the flame comes for heating the beaker or particular taking the mixture. Okay, the component. Okay, the Bunsen burner, the flame. Okay, here we have the adjustment for the lightening of the flame. The low flame is high flame too. Okay, and the next one is tripod stand. What is this? You already know what is this? Tripod stand. Children, this tripod stand is used, just placed for balancing. 3 stands are given the bottom to just have a proper stand of the particular beaker or the wire gauze. We have the placement upon this, the apparatus setup we have. So this tripod stand is used to just place upon the things where it is having the balancing for just placing all the components of the apparatus up on the particular tripod stand. Okay, camera stand from you use for shooting. It is also having 3 legs. Tripod stand. Tri means, the word tri means 3. Okay, yes. So this is the tripod stand. This is the apparatus required. What are the apparatus required, children? Once again for you from the start. Yes, ink. Okay, beaker, watch glass or china dish, wire gauze, Bunsen burner and tripod stand. These are the apparatus required for the separation of the colored components, which is dyes, from blue or black ink. Okay, now we have the methods to be done for the process. Okay, so what is the process? What is the apparatus setup for the taken apparatus? We'll see. So we'll just take a tripod stand, okay, and down of that we'll place Bunsen burner, okay. So upon this tripod stand we are going to place a wire gauze too, okay. What is that? Wire gauze upon tripod stand. I'll write here, okay. I'll just place it here, the wire gauze, okay. The wire gauze is placed between beaker containing water and also tripod stand, okay. This is the between placement of the wire gauze, okay. Fine. Wire gauze is necessary for just a safe side, that's it, okay. Yeah, because there should be no direct heat to the particular glass materials, no, it will break, okay, at some extent. So we are using wire gauze to just have a safer side for the beaker or any other thing taken glass items not to break it, okay. So we are taking a tripod stand. I'll write here for you. We have taken tripod stand, and for this, down of that we just adjust the Bunsen burner. Down of this we have, what is this? Bunsen burner, and upon this wire gauze is also placed, wire gauze, and upon that we have taken a beaker. What is that, children? Upon that we placed a beaker and added amount of water, some half level or so. We added water to the particular beaker, okay. What is added, children? We added water to that beaker, okay. Water is being added to the particular beaker. Half amount is just half thing the taken is done, okay. Now after that we are going to place a watch glass on the top of the beaker, okay. Here we have taken two apparatus, watch glass or also china dish, okay. In this particular process we can take both of them, but watch glass is much preferred, okay, because it is also china dish is a bit heavy than the watch glass, okay. We prefer watch glass sometimes, and we can also prefer china dish for some heating purposes, okay, directly. In ammonium chloride and common salt you see over there, okay, that is directly used of china dish. And here we are going to use the watch glass, okay. This is a watch glass placed upon the beaker containing water, okay. This is a watch glass, and on that we are going to pour ink. What is that? Ink. Now this is the process set up for the apparatus, and after that everything is done, watch glass, and upon that you are placing ink, no, the blue or black color ink. What you will do, we will just light up the Bunsen burner and adjust the flame, okay. So what happens, because of this Bunsen burner the heat is applied to the particular beaker containing water. So water gets started boiling, yes, and those boiling, the things, the heated up and everything will touches the watch glass, upon where the watch glass containing ink is separating its components of the dye we say, and the water content which is present in the ink is just evaporating to the atmosphere. You can see the vapors over here, yes, okay. And how this process goes, so just have a look and again come back, okay. Yes, we have the method here for you, which is the separation of colored components, that is the dye, from blue or black ink, okay. What is happening, let's see. The blue ink, or we can also take black ink too, children, okay. Now used in fountain pens is a liquid mixture. Yes, we'll use the ink which is blue in color, black in color, or even red in color also, or green in color also we'll use now in the fountain pens generally, okay. And nowadays nobody is using fountain pens, but in the previous days they used to use a lot of fountain pens, okay. And that is having a liquid mixtures. What is that? Is a liquid mixture, liquid mixture. Ink is a liquid and also water is a liquid, okay. Liquid mixture, okay. It was something liquid in condition, okay. The fountain pens containing ink is a liquid in nature, liquid mixture, okay. It is a mixture of a dye in water, dye which is a colored compound which is in the mixed in the water. So it is a dye in water. Dye plus water is a ink, where ink is a mixture, okay. We are going to separate this dye from the water in the ink, okay. So we can separate the colored component which is the dye by the process of evaporation, By the process of what, children? By the process of evaporation. Because why? You can see, observe the vapors from the dye, the ink. Yes. So here the process is going on behind is nothing but evaporation. What is evaporation, children? Tell me, what is evaporation? Evaporation is nothing but changing of state from liquid to which form? Gaseous form. Very good. So evaporation is being done in this particular mixture to color this, separate the component of the colored one. Okay. Now in this process, the separation, we do not heat the china dish containing ink directly over the flame. Here we have taken watch glass. No, we can take watch glass or also china dish. Okay. We should not heat them directly. What we are doing now? We are going to add water to the beaker, and upon that we are placing watch glass and also china dish. But we should not keep that china dish or the taken watch glass directly upon this tripod stand containing the watch glass. Okay. Because why? Because if it is heated directly, the ink will evaporate. The ink will just decompose, because it is of high heating. No, the ink will decompose. Okay, because of that reason we are going to heat it indirectly but not directly. What is indirect manner? Placing a beaker, adding water to it, and upon that placing watch glass, and in that we are adding ink. Okay, so we should not heat the ink which is containing in the particular placed in the china dish or watch glass, okay, directly over the flame. This is because the dye obtained from ink can get decomposed. Okay, we may lose the ink, the content, the weight of ink. Okay, should not heat it directly because it can decompose on high temperatures. Okay, by the high temperatures. All right. So produced by the direct heating, they have high chance to just decompose of the ink. Okay, with a burner, yes, with a burner you can easily, yeah, decompose. We use a water bath for evaporating ink. So I told you, no, we have taken a water bath for evaporating ink. This is the process where we are placing a beaker and adding water, and upon that we are placing watch glass containing ink. So this is acting as a water bath. What is this? Water bath. Got it? Yes. Water bath is a safe site for doing the process for separating the colored component of the dye from the ink. Okay. So we are taking this beaker which is containing water, and upon that placing watch glass. Okay. If it is directly placed without this beaker, the ink will get decomposed upon by the high temperatures, because it will have the ink will get decomposed directly. Okay, due to heating of the burner. Okay, and we will use the water bath for indirect heating of the and evaporating of the particular water from the ink. Now, next what is happening? The experiment to obtain colored component, which is the dye from ink. How are you going to separate that? We take a beaker and fill it with half with water. Yes, we are taking the beaker, no? We are taking the beaker and filling half with the water content. Yes, as a water bath. Okay, and about 5 ml of ink, which is blue ink or black ink taken. How much ml? 5 ml. Just we will take the syrup, no? Intake of small cup 5 ml, that way. Okay, we will take that. A spoon, let's say a spoon. Okay, is taken and put in a china dish. China dish, and also you can use watch glass too. Okay, the china dish containing ink is the placed one upon this. Okay, yes, put in a china dish. Yes, the china dish containing ink is then placed over the mouth of the beaker. Upon beaker we keeping that particular china dish or also watch glass, let's say. Okay, and that beaker which is containing water. Water is very important, because of that all we are taking it named as water bath. Okay, we have to place water at the half of the beaker content. Okay, which is kept on the, yes, the tripod stand. Okay, for proper balancing in our. Okay, now next what happens? We can now start the beaker with a burner, heating the burner. Okay, heating with the particular beaker, we are going to start heating the beaker with the burner. Soon the water in the beaker starts boiling. Okay, to form steam, aviri. We say no, steam, aviri. Okay, and those the hot vapors, the steam, heats the ink in the china dish. It goes attached to the particular watch glass, and upon this the vapors are going up, the steam is going up and it is attached to the particular watch glass or china dish we can say, and that ink is also attacking with that of the steam. So the water content present in the ink will just evaporates. Okay, yes. Here, due to this heating, the water present in the ink starts evaporating gradually, slowly, slow by slow process. The ink which is containing water will just evaporate slow manner. Okay, and when all the water has evaporated from the particular watch glass containing ink, we stop heating, we stop the burn, we put off the Bunsen burner flame. Okay, we will find that a small amount of solid colored material. If you take blue, it is blue in color. If you take blue ink, it is blue colored component, solid one. If you take black ink, it is black colored material present in the particular watch glass, left over the solid component. Which component is that? Solid colored material is left in the china dish, or let's take watch glass. Okay, so that is being residue reminded left over in the particular watch glass. Okay, so this is the process where we can observe the removal of water from the ink, so that the colored component, which is the dye, is obtained from the process of this. Okay, so after evaporating all the water vapors, what happens? The solid component left in the particular beaker, the particular watch glass is called as directly the dye, the colored component of the ink. Okay, and here we have the process, how it goes experiment wise. Okay, so first what you have taken, children, we are taking a tripod stand. Upon that we are placing a wire gauze for safe side, and upon that we are placing a beaker and adding water to the half level, and we are placing placing on the mouth of beaker we are placing watch glass, and also called as china dish, and on that we are going to add the ink. Okay, and we are going to place the Bunsen burner down of the tripod stand. Okay, exactly between the tripod stand, and we are going to light up, turn on the flame. Okay, so after what happens? Because of this flame, the beaker which is containing water slowly boils, and the vapors, the hot vapors, the steam goes attached to the watch glass, and what happens? The ink which is placed on the watch glass is attacked by this vapors, and the water content present in that ink will just evaporates. So all this process is going from liquid condition to gaseous condition. That is nothing but evaporation. Very good. So after evaporating all the water content gradually, slow by slow process, the watch glass will remain with the solid colored material, that is containing what? Dye, the colored material. Okay, this is what happened in the particular process. Okay, children, hope you understood this. Yes, if not, if you want to do this process at home, do one thing. Take a spoon of ink, take a spoon, yeah, on that place ink, okay, yeah, the colored component ink, and what you do, you just take a bowl, okay, like in the sense of beaker, like a water bath, you just apply it, and on that you add water, and upon that small beaker you place the spoon containing the ink, and down just on the flame. Okay, what happens? The vapors comes and hit the top of the spoon, so the ink which contains water, it evaporates, and the colored component is left behind the particular attached to the spoon. That condition, that way we can just separate the water from the ink to obtain the colored component, that is dye. Okay, this you have to do if it is okay in a safe condition. Okay, do it in the presence of elders, but don't do by your own. Okay, this is not safe because we are using fire. No, not safe. But if you are really interested to do, just try it, or else just watch any video clips. Okay, so here we have the applications and the conclusions for what it is using. Okay, what is the process behind it, children? Evaporation. Very good. And the conclusion part, we find that ink is a mixture of dyes in water. Yes, ink is a mixture of dyes in water. What is formula of water, children? Formula for water is H2O. Okay, formula for water is, chemical formula is H2O. What is this? H, capital H, 2 and O, 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Okay, H2O. And thus we can separate the volatile component, which is the solvent, from its non-volatile component, that is solute, by the method of evaporation. Okay. So by this process we can do application with that of so many things. We are going to separate the colored components dyes from the particular inks or any other components. Okay. So what we are going to do, children, we are going to just separate them both with the help of evaporation process, where the volatile component, which is a solvent, here the volatile component is nothing but water. Yes, because why? It is evaporating, no? Volatile means it will easily evaporate, okay, upon heating. Volatile component is nothing but water, which is called as solvent. And from this, the non-volatile, what is non-volatile here? What is the solute? Nothing but dye. The dye which used, okay, by the method of evaporation, okay. If you see here in this particular diagram, the process is like this. We have the ink is a mixture of dye and water, okay. Here we have two components. One is solute and other is solvent, okay. Solute here is nothing but ink. Solute here is ink and solvent is nothing but water, okay. Water is acting as solvent in the particular of ink mixture, and also ink is acting as solute in the ink mixture, okay. So water is solvent which is volatile in nature, it easily evaporates, and ink is a solute which is non-volatile, does not evaporate and left in the watch glass, remain, and the solid component here after extraction of evaporation of water is nothing but the ink, which is the dye, okay. We can write here the dye, okay. And by this process of evaporation, we are going to separate the colored components from that of blue ink or black ink taken ink. We are going to separate the water from the ink, and the left residue, which is called as the dye, which is the colored component, which is a solid in nature, it is coming from the process of evaporation. So by this we are going to separate the mixture of colored component, which is blue ink, from the blue ink or black ink. We are going to separate the colored component, that is called dye. Very good. Dye is something pigments. Yes, okay. Dye is nothing but a colored pigments. Okay. Colored pigment or pigments, let's say. Okay. By this we are going to separate the colored components, that is nothing but dyes or pigments, from this separation of technique called as evaporation. Okay. The taking process, everything you have in mind, right? The process, the apparatus setup, everything. Okay, it should be very clear. We should definitely use a water bath. We should not heat it directly. That is the main point, key point for the particular process of separating the colored component, that is meant to dye, in the process of from blue ink or black ink. Very good. This is a session for you children. Thank you.